Hello everyone and welcome to this information session for digital marketing. I think we might just go for a timely start. It's exactly 12 o'clock over here in London, and welcome wherever you are. And I'm going to introduce myself quickly and tell you a little bit about the program, the purpose, the objectives of the program, the content, and if there's any question, I'll also be here to answer questions. I also will have another speaker joining me, another speaker in the program joining me and telling us a little bit about the part of the program that he's responsible for. But anyway, my name is Omar and I'm an assistant professor in marketing at Imperial College Business School. I research in different areas. I research in marketing strategy. I look at the role and influence of marketing within organizations. So I'm interested in looking at the contributions that marketing makes to firms, to the financial success of organizations. And of course, I'm also interested in more specific areas such importantly, digital marketing. I've put on this slide some of the recent clients that I've done work with. As you can see, it's a varied type of audience, very different organizations from different sectors, different countries, and they all share something in common, and that is a need to deal with challenges in marketing, but particularly the challenges that are brought upon by the digital world. And I guess that to start, I just wanted to lay a little bit of foundation for the rationale behind this particular module. The digital world comes with a number of challenges and opportunities, and it's one of those things that unless you master it, unless you harness it, it can actually represent a threat. So it's one of those things that we have to deal with, we have to learn how to use, and we can actually use to our own advantage. In this program, we are going to start a little bit in the very beginning by looking at the foundations of digital. So what is it about it that changes everything? What is it about it that changes the way in which we can compete and the way in which we can create value for customers, target customers, etc. So we're going to look very quickly at different trends like obviously digitization, the growth of the internet and so forth. So we're going to lay the foundation for the rationale behind this particular program, asking why do we need to deal with these challenges, and in what way are these challenges and opportunities asking us to reshape marketing strategies and tactics? Because ultimately marketing is changing because of digital, both at a strategic level, for example in terms of the business models that have developed, but also in terms of product, service design, etc. But it also, of course, at the tactical level. For example, the way in which we connect with customers, the way in which we foster word of mouth, the way in which we advertise, we communicate, the way in which we service customers, and of course even distribution strategies. So we're going to look at marketing in the digital world from both of these perspectives, from the digital perspective, from the digital strategy perspective, but also the tactical. And of course, the argument is that, you know, although the objectives of your business might be the same as they were, say, 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, in other words, it's about maximizing, say, profitability, shareholder value, etc. The ways in which we're doing that nowadays are changing dramatically. So although the objectives of any business are still similar, ultimately what is changing is the way in which we achieve them. And we're going to ask the question, what exactly are the ways in which we can achieve these objectives using the digital toolkit? So we're going to look at best practices in marketing. We're going to look at best practices in digital marketing because digital, of course, is growing in terms of its importance. A lot more organizations are investing more money in digital. As you can see here, I'm sharing some of the latest data from the IAB where they're showing that 48% of all advertising spending in the UK alone goes towards digital. Now, if you compare that to, say, 6 or 7 years ago, television was still the leading tool in terms of marketing communications in the UK. So digital has experienced a very fast growth, significant growth, but also, as you can see, a very sustained growth. Digital is still the leading tool in terms of percentage increase, in terms of spending. So what do we take away from this? Well, what we're taking away from this is that companies are following customers where they're going, and customers are increasingly going towards digital. So the money is following the customers. But I guess some of this is also showing the fact that a lot of money might be thrown into digital, so the fact that spending is increasing so rapidly and so significantly might also due to the fact that a lot of companies perhaps are still just throwing money at the problem without necessarily being very familiar with how exactly the solutions that they're trying are actually paying off. It's very possible that some of these ideas, some of these tools that we're using in digital might not show the return on investment that we want. So this program is designed to address some of the concerns that managers have been pointing out in recent years. So while many of them are increasing their marketing budgets and their particularly digital marketing budgets, many of them are still saying they don't know exactly how to use the digital toolkit. They're confused, they're anxious about digital. Our research at Imperial College has shown that a lot of the executives that are entrusted with digital marketing strategies are still unsure about exactly what works, what doesn't work, and in particular what the return on investment of many of these tools are. So in this program, we try to answer a lot of these questions and try to, in a sense, reduce the anxiety of executives that are unsure about how to leverage the digital marketing tool to their advantage. And we're going to look a little bit, we're going to start from very introductory concepts as well and look at mastering the language of digital marketing and understand all these forces that are shaping digital. And then we're going to move into looking at actual tools and the actual opportunities that you can leverage out of the digital toolkit. So we're going to look at content marketing, for example. We're going to look at social media. We're going to look at analytics. We're going to look at a lot of different tools that we can use to compete in the digital world. The idea is that in line with what we do at Imperial College, we're very much a school that is proud of the fact that we work at the intersection between theory and practice. So the things that we do are never too theoretical or never just practical. They are always at the intersection between the two. The things that we try to do are scientifically rigorous. So there is science, there's research behind the topics that we cover, but also managerially relevant. So there are things that will hopefully meet the needs of managers that want to worry about the practicality and the usefulness of these things. I mentioned already that there's a balance between the strategic and the tactical, so we're going to look at macro level issues, but also tools specifically to deal with tactical elements. And we're also going to focus on the big and the small, and by that I mean that the things that we talk about are going to be relevant whether you work in a very large established organization or whether perhaps you're an entrepreneur or you work within a young startup. And actually there's a lot of material, there's a lot of examples and case studies from either of these two contexts that can be relevant to the other, so there's a lot of cross-learning, so to speak. So who is this program for? Well, anybody who has an influence on the digital strategy of your organization. So if you are responsible for marketing campaigns in B2B or B2C, if you have an impact on the digital marketing strategy of your organization, this is for you. But it could be also just for anybody who is interested in digital marketing. A lot of us might be curious about what digital marketing is and how we can use it, and perhaps again, some of you might be those managers that we spoke about earlier. They are a bit anxious about catching up with all these trends, all these changes, and this program is also for you. So, what are exactly the topics that we're going to cover in this program? Well, we're going to start with day one. So when you join us at Imperial College, you'll be welcomed by me on the morning of the first day, and there'll be an introduction to the program, an overview of digital. We're going to talk about all these challenges, all these fundamental concepts and trends that are important in digital. So I'm going to be there to set the foundations, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what does it mean for marketing strategy and tactics. So we're going to talk, for example, about how word-of-mouth management is changing according to digital. We're going to talk about how customer feedback and customer interactions are changing because of digital. We're going to talk about how we reach out to customers, how we engage them in the digital world. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about best practices in things like, for example, social media. What makes social media work? What are the kind of strategies that you can use within social media to ensure that you obtain the results that you want. So in the morning we're going to start looking at a little bit of research that has been done within digital marketing that might be useful and relevant to you to start to get your head around some of the things that might work and not work in digital. In the afternoon we'll be joined by Daniel, who is going to get a little more in depth into the content marketing and some technical elements. So he's going to share a lot of very hands-on tools. So you're going to have the opportunity to look at, for example, how search engine optimization might be done, content marketing, against social media, marketing analytics, all these tools, and doing so with actual tools. So you'll be showing the tools in the workshop. You'll be firing up the computer, looking at how these things are used, how they work, what kind of data you can get access to. So this is very hands-on to get you really to understand how these tools work and how they can benefit you and your business. Also, Daniel is going to talk a little bit about this user journey. So how do we start from a customer who isn't a customer, and how do we take that customer into this journey where he or she may become a loyal repeat buyer of your products and services. And of course, he's going to talk about measurement tools as well. How do we actually assess the success of all of this? On day 2, we're going to come back in the morning with Katarina, who's also a colleague of mine at Imperial College, and she's going to focus a little bit on how digital is changing distribution and marketing communications in the digital world. So she's going to talk a little bit about how channels are transforming the way in which we reach out to customers because of digital, and a lot of the interesting tools and ideas to improve your marketing communication strategy. Again, a lot of balance between the strategic and the technical, a lot of balance between the science and the practice, the things that we really aim for you to gain out of these sessions in this workshop is lots of practical ideas. If you leave with some new ideas, new plans, something that makes you think in a fresh and novel and innovative ways about your digital marketing, then that's the purpose very much of some of these workshops. And in the afternoon of day 2 we'll be joined by Jaka Levstek, who happens to be right here next to me, so I'm going to invite him to talk about his afternoon session and tell us a little bit about it. Jaka, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello everyone. At Imperial College Business School, but my day job is that I'm a CEO and a founder of a consultancy called D-Labs, which in the last 7 years have built over 50 companies that now have cumulatively acquired almost 1 billion revenues annually. So my background is entrepreneurial marketing, obviously, and what my part of this session will be is to focus on a specific context that obviously is similar to what I'm used to in the entrepreneurial world. And that basically means solving the following challenge. So whenever we deal, especially in digital, with high levels of uncertainty, both from a standpoint of will our products actually generate or create a market for or customers that will be attracted to what we're doing on one side, while at the same time we're going to be continuously expected to reach astronomical levels of growth. In my line of business, having 20% month on month is not a very unusual thing. And doing all that together, starting from a very limited amount of resources, so starting from limited budgets and only building your way up through specific stages, this is the type of challenges that we are used to in our particular context. So to talk about growth marketing as a discipline is basically to talk about how we are addressing those specific challenges that we are facing in every new digital business. So what are we talking about when we say about growth marketing? So we're talking about a very new discipline that refers to marketing strategies and tactics that are related to targeted revenue, they're related to user acquisition or customer acquisition, on growing engagement and retention that is at the same time scalable and measurable. So think of it from the following perspective. If your typical notion of marketing is that we focus on the top side of the funnel, so how to generate awareness and how to generate intent, we are addressing the overall funnel. So basically how to do one thing, just attract and retain highly engaged customers with our product. What we're going to do on the session itself is we're going to take a look at the frameworks that we're going to be using. We're going to take a look at the tools we're going to be using. We're going to take a look at the concepts and how to measure them. But also we're going to take a look at the best cases. So we're going to learn from how the highest growing companies in this world, anything from Airbnb to Just Eat, have organizationally wise embedded the growth as their discipline, and how they've achieved the phenomenal growth that we know them by today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaka. Thank you very much. So, as you can see, a lot of what we think is interesting, timely content. And I think, importantly, and I think what Jaka has also just reminded us of, is the combination, in a sense, of the new and the old as well. In a sense, a lot of the things that we've been talking about that they will be covered in day 1 and day 2. Some of these ideas are ideas that have been around for quite a while, and maybe what has been happening is that digital has transformed them a little bit. We've fine-tuned them because of digital. And then Jaka just reminded us that there are also a lot of very novel and interesting ideas out there, particularly those ideas that are pioneered by some of the more entrepreneurial companies that we can learn from. So in designing this program, we've really aimed to create something that is at the intersection of all of these things, the new and the old, the big and the small, the strategic and the tactical, the business and the technological. So looking at things that merge our understanding of digital from a number of different perspectives. So what makes this program ultimately unique? Why is, realize that you have choices when you're thinking of digital marketing programs. I think the things that I just mentioned, very importantly, that it's not just about the location of Imperial College and of course being in London and being within the business school, but also it's the fact that in designing and delivering this program, we draw on the resources of the college and the intellectual assets and networks that we have here. And that makes us particularly well placed and particularly uniquely placed to give you something that we think is very relevant, but at the same time scientifically very rigorous and managerially useful. You of course will have access to Imperial College faculty, and the way in which we work is one where we look at marketing from a variety of ways. So we don't focus on marketing at a micro level, but we look at it from different angles, and we try to draw from all these different perspectives to give you something very powerful. So we hope that you'll find also the environment at Imperial College Business School quite interactive. The way in which we deliver our sessions is with plenty of workshops, exercises. So the kind of tools that we've been talking about today, Jack and I, are explained usually by faculty, and then we have opportunity to sit down and really ask the question, what does it mean for you? So you'll be given plenty of opportunities to do that, to really reflect, okay, I understand the concept, I understand the idea, or I appreciate the importance of that particular case study, but ultimately, what does it mean for me? And we will have lots of opportunities to do that. So tease out the concepts, apply them, and customize them in a sense to your specific situation to derive learnings and insights that are as relevant, as important, and timely as possible. We hope that you have found this interesting. Of course, the time is limited, and there's only so much that we could talk about today. And I'm also conscious of the fact that perhaps we went a little bit fast through some of the concepts and ideas, but that's because we're very excited about this program, and we want to share that excitement with you, and we want to show you how much of the program can be potentially useful to your business, and also to familiarize yourself and strengthen your understanding of something that is definitely changing the way in which we do business, and in particular changing the way in which we do marketing. That's my email. If you'd like to get in touch with him with any questions at all, please feel free to email me. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.